There was a time before money, before coins, banknotes, banks, wages, and digital balances. But there was never a time before value. People gave gifts, shared food, exchanged services, and remembered who had helped whom and who owed whom. Long before money existed, obligation existed. Not mortgages or credit cards, but the older kind of debt. You helped me, I must respond. In the beginning, value was not a thing. It was a bond, a relationship, a memory, an invisible thread between people. The common story is simple. First, there was barter. One person had fish but needed shoes. Another had shoes but needed grain. For exchange to work, both parties had to want exactly what the other had at exactly the right moment. What economists call the double coincidence of wants. To solve this problem, the story goes, humans invented money. But money may not have begun primarily as a solution to trade. It may have begun as a solution to memory. Who owes what? What is the value of a cow compared with labor or injury? Before money became coins, it may first have been a way of measuring obligations. Money did not begin as a thing in the hand. It began as a comparison in the mind. Before coins and banknotes, there was debt. Someone had borrowed grain, worked a certain number of days, or owed compensation for injury or damage. In early societies, value lived inside social relationships. But as communities grew larger, memory became less reliable. A small village can remember. A temple or a state needs records. It needs a way of saying, this person owes this much. This work equals this ration. This amount of grain equals this amount of silver. Once this happens, something profound changes. Different things can be compared through a shared measure. Money is born when unlike things become comparable. In Mesopotamia, grain and silver were used as measures of value long before coinage. This was not about people walking around with coins. It was bookkeeping. A temple or palace needed to know how much grain was in storage, how many workers should receive rations, and what was owed. Here, money was not yet the shiny object we imagine. It was an accounting system, a way of making the world legible. The first money lived less in marketplaces than in ledgers, less in the hand than on the clay tablet. And once value is written down, it becomes harder to escape. The coin came later than debt and accounting. But once it appeared, something changed. Value gained a body. A coin is never just metal. It is metal with a story stamped onto it, carrying a ruler's face and the guarantee of authority. The coin made value portable, allowing wealth to move across markets, armies, and empires. But it also allowed power to move. A ruler could pay soldiers in coins, then demand taxes in those same coins. And if people had to pay taxes in the ruler's money, they had to acquire it by selling, working, trading, or serving. Money did not spread only through trade. It also spread through power. Money only works if people believe that other people also believe in it. A coin is metal. A banknote is paper. A number in a bank account is information. Yet these things decide where we live, what we eat, and which futures are possible. This is the strange magic of money. It is imaginary, but not unreal. A shared fiction can still build cities, move armies, feed children, and collapse economies. Money is trust made transferable, but also trust made fragile. If people stop believing in it, the spell breaks. The note remains paper. The world behind it trembles. Over time, money became lighter. Metal became paper. Paper became credit. Credit became numbers moving through banks, servers, and apps. Today, most money is not metal or even banknotes. It is debt, promises, databases, and permissions. Money has become almost invisible, yet it is everywhere. The modern human being does not merely live with money. She lives through it. Rent, salary, pension, loans, credit scores, digital payments. The old coins sat in the hand. Modern money surrounds a life. It is less an object than an atmosphere. Humanity did not invent money in a single moment. It emerged gradually, from gifts, debts, fines, rations, grain, silver, temples, trade, taxation, and records. First, there was value, then obligation, measurement, records, metal, coins, paper, credit, then data. Human beings invented money to measure value, but eventually, money began to measure human beings. The true birth of money may not have been the first trade or the first coin, but the moment when value left the human voice and entered the record. A favor became a debt became a contract became a chain, and a chain became an economy. Money is one. Money is one of humanity's most powerful inventions, not merely because it helps us exchange things, but because it teaches us to see the world as exchangeable. Money began as a way to measure value. In the end, it became one of the ways civilization measures us.